Physics Class 11 Chapter 7 Systems of Particles and Rotational Motion. In the last class we have studied moment of inertia. Today we shall study radius of gyration and theorems of perpendicular and parallel axes. So first we shall define radius of gyration. Radius of gyration of a body about an axis defined as the distance from the axis of a mass point whose mass is equal to the mass of the whole body and whose moment of inertia is equal to the moment of inertia of the body about the axis. So we define radius of gyration as the distance from the axis of rotation of a mass point whose mass is equal to the mass of the whole body. So we consider the mass equal to the mass of the whole body, okay, whole rigid body, and moment of inertia is equal to the moment of inertia of the body about the axis, and the moment of inertia is also equal to the moment of inertia of the body about the axis. So this is the definition of radius of gyration. The practical use of moment of inertia I is the machines such as steam engine and the automobiles engine etc. that produces rotational motion have a disc with a large moment of inertia called flywheel. Because of its large inertia, the flywheel resists the sudden increase or decrease of the speed of the vehicle, therefore smooth ride. Now this is a practical use of the moment of inertia I. It is the when in the machines such as steam engines, automobiles, it has got in such machines, such engines has got rotational motion, okay, and they have got a disc with a large moment of inertia, okay. In these machines there are discs with large moment of inertia, and that we call it as a flywheel. And because of the large inertia I, what happens is the flywheel will resist the sudden increase or decrease. So that means there will be no jerk, okay, jerk in the motion of the vehicle or any engine. Therefore the speed will be moderate, or it can be controlled. It will be neither increasing very sudden increase or sudden decrease. So that means the vehicle will move or the engine will move smoothly, and therefore the passengers, if it is an engine where the vehicle engine used in a vehicle, then the passengers will have smooth ride, okay. So that is the practical use of a moment of inertia. Next we have got theorem of perpendicular axis. It states that the moment of inertia of a planar body, that is lamina, about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to the sum of its moments of inertia about two perpendicular axes concurrent with perpendicular axis and lying in the plane of the body. So this is a statement of theorem of perpendicular axis, that the moment of inertia of a planar body, lamina, that means it has got the plane more, right, is a planar body, about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to the sum of its moments of inertia about two perpendicular axes concurrent means passing from the same point with perpendicular axis and lying in the plane of the body. To understand the theorem of perpendicular axis, let us study the figure, okay. In this figure you can see that this is a planar body, okay. This body which you can see is a planar body, and the perpendicular axis passing from this origin we are taking here as z, okay. We have to take a perpendicular axis passing from this lamina or the planar body, so that I take as a z axis, okay. An axis perpendicular to the planar body equal to z through point O, okay. So we can see this is a z axis which is perpendicular to the planar body and passing from the origin O. Now two mutually perpendicular axes lying in the plane of the body and concurrent with z axis, that is passing through O, are x and y. Now we can look here that this is a point, right, z axis is here. Now this axis is perpendicular to the planar body, okay, and this x and y, these axes are mutually perpendicular, plus they are passing from the same point O. That means they are concurrent lines or concurrent axes, and these x and y axes are in the plane of the body or plane of the planar body, okay, and they are passing from the origin. That means the theorem, according to the theorem, we can say that the Iz equal to the inertia of the z axis equal to Ix plus Iy, sum of the inertia of the two axes that is lying in the planar body and which is concurrent to the z-axis, okay, or the axis which is perpendicular to the planar body. So this is the statement which we can understand through the figure and in this mathematical form, that Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. Okay, so we have got the planar body, okay, and there is a perpendicular axis, z-axis, which is passing from the origin O. Then we have got two mutually perpendicular axes x and y, which are lying in the planar body. Okay, x and y lying in the body, plus it is passing from the origin O. That means they are concurrent with z-axis. Then this inertia of Iz equal to the sum of the inertia of Ix and Iy. Sum of the inertia of x-axis and y-axis, that is Ix and Iy. Okay, so that is the theorem of perpendicular axis. Next we have got theorem of parallel axis. It states that the moment of inertia of a body about any axis is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia of the body about a parallel axis passing through its center of mass and the product of its mass and the square of the distance between the two parallel axes. So this is a statement of parallel axis. To understand the theorem of parallel axis, let us look at this figure. So this is the z-axis, x-axis, y-axis. Okay, so this is a body, and now we have got another axis z dash. Okay, this is a z dash which is at a distance a, and this distance is O to O dash. Okay, this distance is O dash for the origin, and the distance we are taking as small a. Z parallel to z dash. Okay, so this is z axis and this is parallel to z is z dash by distance a, and we can see the distance, perpendicular distance. Okay, the perpendicular distance is small a. Z axis passes through center of mass O of the rigid body, and this z axis is passing from the center of mass O of the rigid body. Okay, this is not a planar body, it is a rigid body. Then according to parallel axis theorem, according to the statement, we can say mathematically it is Iz dash equal to Iz plus m into a square. Okay, mass into a square, where m is the total mass of the body. So m, the mass, into the square of the distance, perpendicular distance of the axis. Okay, this axis. So the perpendicular distance m a square, product of the perpendicular square of the perpendicular distance into the mass, plus the sum, that is plus the inertia of the axis, that is z axis. So Iz, the inertia of z axis is here we take as a Iz. So Iz dash equal to Iz plus m square, where m is the total mass, Iz is the inertia of the z axis. So this is the theorem of the parallel axis. So this is theorem of the parallel axis, and this is the figure or the understanding for the theorem of perpendicular axis. Example 7.10. What is the moment of inertia of a disc about one of its diameters? Here you can see this is a disc. Okay, this is your x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, and this is center O. So O is the origin and also the center of mass of the disc. We assume the moment of inertia of the disc about an axis perpendicular to it and through its center is mr square by 2. So this is the we assume that the moment of inertia of the disc, okay, of this disc about an axis which is perpendicular. So this is the axis, z axis, which is perpendicular to the disc and passing through the center of mass. So this is passing from the center of mass O is mr square by 2, where m is the mass of the disc and r is the radius of the disc. Then by the perpendicular theorem or theorem of perpendicular axis, we know the statement says that Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. Okay, this is mathematical way we can write Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. So by theorem of perpendicular axis, we can say Iz equal to Ix plus Iy, where x and y axis are along two diameters of the disc. We can see this is the along diameter, this is along diameter, right? So x and y are along the two diameters of the disc. And by symmetry, we know that this disc is homogeneous or symmetric disc. That means Ix equal to Iy. Okay, this axis and this axis, the inertia will be similar. So Ix equal to Iy. So that means Iz equal to this one, Ix plus, instead of Iy you put Ix, equal to this gives you 2Ix. But we already have defined that Iz value as mr square by 2. Okay, mr square by 2. So Iz equal to mr square by 2. Place here mr square by 2 equal to, this is 2 ix, 2 transfer here, so 2 into 2 gives you 4. Here mr square equal to ix. So that means the inertia about the disk ix, or inertia about this axis, will be mr square by 4. So we can conclude this as, therefore moment of inertia of a disk about any of its diameter is mr square by 4. So they have asked us to find the moment of inertia about its diameter. So it is mr square by 4. R is the radius and m is the mass of the disk. Example 7.11. What is the moment of inertia of a rod of mass capital M, length L, about an axis perpendicular to it through one end? For the rod of mass capital M and length L, the inertia I equal to ml square by 12. By parallel axis theorem, I can write parallel axis theorem says that Iz dash equal to Iz plus ma square, right? So we use here I dash equal to I plus ma square. So now I value, we can put this one ml square by 12 plus m as it is, and a will be L by 2, right? A will be L by 2, so put a value as L by 2 whole square equal to ml square by 12 as it is, plus m L square divided by 2 square, which is 4, right? Now take the LCM. LCM is 12, so here you have to multiply by 3, numerator and denominator. So here ml square plus here you multiply by 3, so 3 ml square by 12. So 3 plus 1 is 4 ml square by 12, cut by 4, so you get ml square by 3. So that is the moment of inertia. Example 7.12. What is the moment of inertia of a ring about a tangent to the circle of the ring? The tangent to the ring in the plane of the ring is parallel to one of its diameter of the ring. So this is the ring, okay, and this is the tangent, right? And this is the diameter passing from the center. So this is the diameter. I have written this as a diameter, and this is the tangent. Now the diameter will be parallel to the tangent, right? The tangent to the ring in the plane of the ring is parallel to one of diameter of the ring. Okay, so you can see here the diameter and this is the tangent. They are parallel to each other. Distance between parallel axis means distance between this and tangent. This distance is capital R. Okay, the distance between the axis is R. Therefore, by parallel axis theorem, T tangent equal to I diameter plus mr square. Okay, I am just using the formula of parallel axis theorem. Okay, and that is this one, Iz dash equal to Iz plus ma square. So here I tangent equal to I diameter plus mr square. So I diameter will be mr square by 2 plus mr square as it is. So here take LCM. So you can take here 2 mr square plus 1 mr square will give you 3 mr square by 2, right? So this is the solution for example 7.12. In your textbook, in the table 7.1, they have given us moments of inertia of some regular shaped bodies about specific axis. Okay, so they have given us, so that you can just go through by yourself. Okay, this is when you take a thin circular ring of radius capital R. Then the inertia is given to mr square. Okay, which I am using for the calculation of the example. Then thin circular ring radius R and axis is diameter. Okay, here perpendicular to plane at center, so this is perpendicular, right? And here it is diameter, so the inertia is mr square by 2. Okay, then you take thin rod of length L and the axis will be your perpendicular to the rod at midpoint. Okay, here this is axis, then the inertia is mr square by 12. Okay, this we used in the example. Then circular disc radius R and the axis is perpendicular to the disc at center, then the inertia is mr square by 2. Then you have got circular disc radius R and diameter is the axis. Okay, this is a circular ring and diameter is the axis, rotating about the diameter. Then the inertia is mr square by 4. Then hollow cylinder radius R, axis of cylinder. Okay, that is the axis. So this is the cylinder. Okay, and this is axis of rotation. Then the inertia is mr square. Solid cylinder radius is R. Then axis of rotation is axis of cylinder. This one, this is solid, this is hollow. Okay, this is solid. Then the inertia is mr square by 2. Solid sphere radius R, diameter. Okay, diameter is the axis, so this is a solid sphere and diameter is the axis of rotation. Then the inertia is 2 mr square by 5. Okay, so this is a table given in your textbook. You can just study, and these are the one I have used to solve the example number 7.10, 11 and 12. We'll keep this much for today. Thank you very much.